Look at any Sunday gridiron, and you are watching the top 1% of human physical potential in action. Every single man on the field is a biological anomaly, carrying a rare combination of size, speed, and acceleration. But that creates a mathematical problem. When a Hall of Fame talent lines up directly across from another Hall of Fame talent, those physical advantages cancel out entirely. The irresistible force meets the immovable object, resulting in a dead heat. This is the exact dynamic that defined the careers of Jerry Rice battling Deion Sanders on the perimeter, or Rob Gronkowski absorbing collisions from Cam Chancellor over the middle. At this threshold, elite physical metrics are simply the entry fee. Every player in the matchup has already maxed out their biological potential for speed and power, leaving the outcome to be decided by something deeper than athleticism. To win these matchups, players rely on a completely different set of tools. Dominating an equal opponent requires a mastery of hidden, microscopic tiebreakers, variables rooted entirely in physics, spatial geometry, and psychological manipulation. We can see this immediately in the ground game in the trenches, where the line of scrimmage acts as a strict testing site for mass and momentum. Take Bo Jackson. He possessed a terrifying combination of top-end speed and downhill mass, making him a kinetic weapon when he broke to the outside. Then look at Ronnie Lott. He was the era's definitive physical counterforce, recognized by his peers as one of the hardest-hitting defensive backs. When Jackson's 230 pounds of downhill momentum meets Lott's low center of gravity tackling form, the kinetic energy distributes equally. Neither man yields, turning a high-speed collision into a sudden, static halt, where neither can simply run through the other. To break these stalemates, players rely on mechanical leverage. We see this vividly in the trenches when someone like defensive end Bruce Smith squared off against offensive lineman Bruce Matthews. Both men had nearly identical reserves of raw power. This diagram shows how Smith broke that tie. By keeping his hands inside Matthews' frame, dropping his shoulder, and flipping his hips, Smith redirected his opponent's energy. That angle shift allowed Smith to displace the heavier force and pull through the line. In a physical standoff, victory belongs to the player who treats the collision as a mathematical equation. It is solved by leverage, not sheer muscle. That same mathematical precision dictates the three-dimensional airspace of the perimeter passing game. Jerry Rice built a legendary career on creating separation through precise route running, but he faced a unique hurdle when matched against Deion Sanders. Sanders possessed a recovery speed that allowed him to erase a receiver's vertical step instantly. He could play the ball from almost any disadvantageous position. This 3D spatial map illustrates how Rice countered that recovery speed. By running a perfect fade route to the corner of the end zone, Rice artificially manufactured a safe zone where the quarterback could place the ball before Sanders' closing speed could mathematically reach it. Other receivers choose to exploit altitude instead. Calvin Johnson could conquer the Z-axis, contorting his diving high above multiple defenders to secure the catch point, regardless of how tightly he was covered. By mastering the geometry of the route and the exact angle of the catch, these receivers rewrite the physical dimensions of the football field, opening up passing windows that technically should not exist. The highest stakes tiebreakers, however, happen entirely within the minds of quarterbacks and defensive backs in the moments right before the snap. Peyton Manning operated as an offensive tactician. He spent all week studying film, predicting defensive behaviors with near-perfect accuracy based on tiny visual tells. The ultimate countermeasure to that level of calculation was Ed Reed. Reed didn't just react to where the ball was going. He operated on advanced anticipation, studying the quarterback's tendencies as deeply as they studied him. Manning frequently used a subtle pump fake to manipulate the secondary. He designed it to force a safety to commit their momentum in the wrong direction, opening up a deep passing lane. Look at this top-down schematic. Reed figured out Manning's specific pump fake habits from film study. Reed would deliberately open his hips to the middle of the field, baiting Manning into thinking the passing lane was clear, only to instantly pivot and intercept the pass. It is a truly brilliant psychological trap. By weaponizing the quarterback's own intelligence and film study against him, Reed ensured that the scientifically correct read became the wrong decision. When physical, geometric, and psychological advantages are perfectly matched over a grueling 60-minute game, you reach the absolute ceiling of professional football. Linebacker Ray Lewis called this the Serengeti rule. When two top-tier predators meet, they're forced to confront a mirrored reflection of their own power and skill. Only one can walk away. That was the reality every time Lewis met bruising running back Eddie George in the hole. It was a relentless, exhausting, blow-for-blow collision course between two men who refused to yield an inch of ground. That standoff finally broke during a late-game interception. Lewis read the deflection and snatched the ball, instantly converting a defensive stop into a game-winning touchdown return that gave Baltimore total control of the momentum. Greatness reveals itself in the margins between equals. It demands looking a perfectly matched rival in the eye and finding the one microscopic edge, leverage, geometry, or deception needed to seize the game.